And this is a themed overnight sketch where it's just overnight but with a theme, shared through any orders that come through for it. And this theme is basically level up, like evolved and ascension. So take like Super Saiyan or Pokemon, that kind of level up. I mean, not exactly that kind, but And so basically, I just take the given character and I just imagine how they'd look if they were to say like, level up basically. So I keep repeating, but so this is based. This client's character is actually one of my designs. Previous, what was it? An egg adopt? Yeah, it was an egg adopt. Can't remember, but yeah, and this egg adopt like looks like an apple, and so they ordered. The character usually just have one pair of wings, and but for this, the client ordered um full shading, so shading and lighting, and an extra pair of wings, and also extra objects, and that could be anything really. And it's just like you know how because I have extra wing, but extra object is basically another one, extra. So of something or another, and I think I may have oh excuse me the object and question. Oh, see, let me go back to the character. Like my immediate idea was to just definitely have her look darker, and part of their theme for the client direction, which is optional, they provided the color pink and um, queen and celestial. And those are like every theme. I have different options that the client could select for client direction, or they could just let me run with it. But they chose this particular client chose client direction, and so that includes like what color you want their power up, the level up to like show, and so this is the fourth one, the fourth no, fifth maybe. I think this fourth order, but anyway, so at first I was thinking for her level up. See, she usually have pink. Oh, I mean not pink. She have worms coming out of her head, and I actually completely forgot about this. About that while I was working. Like you saw how it looked like she had something around her neck. I was gonna have like pink worms, like they would be coming out of her back and like going around her neck like a what they call it, tufts or something that European queens have, or just royalty. I think pretty much all royalty has something around their neck, right? I don't know, but so yeah, she's gonna have like some pink worms. But for some reason, I I forgot about the worm when I started changing how I wanted the crown to be, and also the hair. Like all of a sudden during the piece, I suddenly realized, oh, it would be cool to have um the her apple skin like peeled away, because I've been eating apples a lot lately, and I peel off the skin. And so when I was thinking of her, I thought of apples and I thought of that, and I was like, oh, it would be cool if peeled her skin and that became like her hair. And so that's what I did. And I also had, she usually don't have the root or whatever, the stalk thing, um, in her level down design. So I decided, what if that wrapped around from like a crown? So that's why that's there. And for her wings, I had her them be more full, like actual wings. Like in the originally, she only have one pair, and they're basically just long branches with leaves. But this time, for her, I just sorry it's late. It's like um but anyway, for her, I decided the level up should have more flesh to the wings. So they look like leaves, but they're really more solid. So and they probably even have the texture of sorts of leaves, but they're actually solid like wings, like regular um, wings of sorts. So yeah, she had big eyes, and I oh, and also for her arms, like she has really big forearm muscle that's like pie ish, and I decided to like open those up, like kind of to reflect the hair, how she's her hair is pills, so her forearms are like slightly pills, and so it's open in the back and like peeled off, but some of the skin is like raised up, just to be like fanciful for like royalty, and and I didn't really at first I didn't know what to do with her arms. I just knew one on the hip maybe, and then I would try to figure out what to do with the other arm. I was like, it would just be cool to have her like it pointing down, because I wanted to. I like to reflect the dimension. I mean, not the dimension. The the for the dynamic. So have that a little. It's like slight dynamic, just slight, and so it's slightly mouse eye view. And I've been um practicing that a lot too. Because I like the idea of slight view, like instead of extreme, and because I wanted to show more of her face really, and they full shading. So here's just laying down the shading, and I do it really simply. It's even though I think it still takes a bit too much time, because I still go back and clean it up a bit. Even though it's a sketch, I shouldn't, but I do because it just looks better. And so I just lay down like a like as if I'm shell shading, which is just solid. Like how regular cartoons, especially cartoons back in the day, like 90s or so, like a solid or comics back then, solid shading. If you don't know what cell shading is, and so but I do slight shell shading, but with gradients. And so first I lay down the basic, and it always looks, just like even for I know I could just leave it technically. I mean, it still goes along with the sketch, but in cleaning it up, I just go back and erase the edges to make it not so sharp, and just minor clean up here and there, and and yeah, she has like a little pouch, cute pouch, gut there, and even though I think it, yeah, um, if this was a pro piece, I would have went back and changed it a little, because it looks too, yeah, it just looks like a sketch. Fuck. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes, like okay, see the wing, the little tiny ear wing, on her on the right, no left, that's already shaded with the highlight. Okay. See, that's too much open space to me. Like if this was pro, I would have went back and it was been much more detailed. Like with sorry, cats, with the lines. Like so, it's all open, and I would have went back. For some reason, it bothers me if something is too open. So um, I need to um, yeah, try to compensate. I'm trying to practice compensating with if there's not many lines, because it shouldn't always be lines. So I try to compensate with the shading to handle the minute detail that I like. But and also like the original character, she's much lighter and she has orange, and so I decided, and she does have the hip stripies, like it's just like stretch mark tiger stripes, and but I just extended them here and to her legs, and I made them pink. So I figured when she powers up, her apple skin gets darker, and then it's like the pink stripes you saw on the original, they're actually orange. But I figured for her upgrade, they like turn pink, and or she gets darker. And I thought that would be cool. That was my immediate thought. With a piece, sometimes I go back. Me, not go back, but while I'm preparing to start the piece, that's when I first look at the directions. Like I usually don't look at them before. So only when I'm ready to start do I actually look at the piece. And I thought it would be cool to have dark red and with the pink over it. And I actually did like the pink in the hair pills, in the peeled hair. But I just wanted to balance more, like my desire to see it balance was stronger than my like of the pink in the hair, and because I wanted the eyes to pop, and if the pink was in the hair, it wouldn't. It would just be like, oh, it would like be too much up there. So maybe during the transformation they're pink, but then they like get darker or something. See, it like makes the eyes pop, that darkness. And oh, and to do the extra object ish, I made a second tail. And at this point, I was like, man, I'm spending a lot of time on this. But I figured sometimes um, when someone selects like an add-on or something, and it seems like it's not enough, I just go overboard with the detailing, with whatever they want, with whatever they have selected. I just go a bit overboard with it. Or like say if it was a flat color, then I'll just go back and add shading. So anyway, so I added the blur effect and I created the second tail. I just drew that completely separate in its own folder so I could blur it and I won't have to deal with like going back and correcting the blur around the other lines. I hate that actually. I like to do it separately, but for sketches I've been to speed up and not spend too much time. I just go and blur. But for this one I actually put it drew it. It's funny with blur, it's like all that detail gone. It's like all that work, even though I know I'm just going to blur it. And I wanted the light. I didn't want it too strong. The highlight. What I did here was like that's a different layer, like below, and playing around with the fill and stuff. So yeah, fun. Thank you. Bye.